Welcome to the Dream Huge podcast, where we'll talk with real estate investors, entrepreneurs, business leaders, athletes, and more to inspire you with their success stories so you can work hard, never give up, and dream huge. And now, let's start the show.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Dream Huge podcast, man. Super excited for this one today. Folks, we love to share success stories from other huge dreamers, folks in the real estate business, entrepreneurs, movers, shakers, influencers, and more. And hopefully these stories will help to motivate and inspire you to also dream huge, baby. So today we got my man, Christopher Landin. Well, first let me get to my co-host. We got my co-host, JP for 3, John Pavlansky. How you doing, JP?
I am doing excellent, man. This is going to be a fun episode talking with one of my buddies today about his journey into the entrepreneurship world full time, rocking the jersey by him and his company. I won't give too many things out. They made these jerseys. I'll show the backside of it too. Made these jerseys for us for a local community basketball game where I was really JP for 3, as you just said, Pete. We had a freaking blast, though. I'm definitely excited to talk some business with this guy today. So, yeah. But one question I do have. Gosh, what was it? Wait, it's been a while. Pete, how are you today, my man?
Good, excellent, as always. Excited to talk with my man, Christopher Landin, who is the co-owner and founder. Co-owner, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Co-owner and founder with his brother, Caleb Landin, of Empire Sportswear. You can find them online at empiresportswear.net. And he is a huge dreamer. He is an entrepreneur who recently quit his day job to go all in on his dream. So we're going to talk some fashion. We're going to talk some entrepreneurship. And we're just going to dive right into it. So, Chris, tell us what you do at Empire Sportswear. Let's start with that. What do you do currently?
Sounds good. Yeah, so currently I'm the graphic designer for all of the uniforms that we put out. I would say probably 80%. We do some freelance with some other designers that are in our local area still. So we do still include everyone that's from here. And Caleb also does a couple of designs as well. I am currently taking over more of the order management side of everything now that I'm available all day. So it's become a lot easier to manage everybody's orders rather than having to text everyone saying, hey, can I get a hold of you later tonight? Currently, graphic designer, order management, and then I would say salesman because, we do a lot of traveling on the weekends to go see everybody. So spend a lot of time speaking to teams and players and coaches.
And you said to go see everybody. How nationwide is this brand from something we just know here locally for us?
Right. Yeah. I know that we have teams all the way in Oregon. I know that we have teams in Texas, New York City, Boston, Florida. I think, honestly, I would say we're touching every single state outside of Alaska and Hawaii. So I would say that we're touching all 48 mainland states.
Fantastic. And how did this dream start?
The dream started in our backyard. I went to college to be a graphic designer, and then just ever since I was a kid, fell in love with sports. I've been in love with graphic design, web design, everything that in between. And I would say, in 2019 or 2020, we started a tiny league in Crestline, Ohio at that backyard football field that you guys see, the Hudson Stadium. We had 6 teams. I think it was like roughly 60 people. And we took that. Everyone was playing, everyone was having a blast. And then there was one thing that was missing. Nobody had uniforms, nobody had jerseys. So I was like, I think I could probably come up with some designs and we could make something happen. And so it started from there. Started working from 6 teams from Mansfield, Crestline, Ohio. And it evolved into, it really blew up when we got into Chicago. So it was really awesome of those guys. They brought us in, made us, a huge part of their city and their leagues, and that just absolutely changed the game for us. And then ever since then, we kind of have taken over, state by state, league by league, talking to a bunch of owners. I think we have 20 active partners right now that have grown throughout the United States from one single league in Crestline, Ohio.
Crazy.
Yes.
Crazy what can happen
Insane.
here in our small area here, man.
Love it.
Hard work and dedication.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So 4 to 5 years ago is when this thing started. Had a bright idea. Let's design a few jerseys. And now it's grown to
Yes.
this. You guys did the local alumni game and the All-Star games. You did some jerseys for us. I mean, and even now with flag football becoming Olympic sport,
Yes,
and
correct.
becoming bigger and bigger, how big do you want to take this thing, Chris? I mean, what's
I mean, sky's the limit, to be honest. You know, when you have a brother that's a lot like Caleb, those goals will never be little. The second that we get done accomplishing one goal that we think was going to be insane, Caleb's like, oh, here's another one. So I think the number one thing I want to see is somehow, some way in the future, some sort being involved with the Olympics. I think that would be a dream come true. You know, and I mean, you got to look at the Olympics now. They're probably with Nike and Under Armour and all of that stuff, but those all started in a garage as well. So you never know. So I would say that, you know, getting to that point in the flag football world would be fantastic. But I would say a big goal that we're achieving right now that feels really fulfilling and wholesome is getting to work with all of our local schools. So we're starting to provide the basketball jerseys for the All-Star, getting to work with you guys for the local, I don't even know what we would call that, the city game. I'm not sure. But that was an awesome sight to see. And, you know, we got to work with a little bit of Lexington and Crawford. And I think we're doing some stuff out over in Lima, Ohio, and Lodi, Ohio, and Columbus and Cleveland. And I think that is one thing that feels like you're almost working with the Olympics because, you know, you're starting to work with the kids. And, you know, when somebody really cares as much as we do when we put our effort into the jerseys, it's really cool to see how ecstatic the kids are.
It's amazing how far the design has come as well. It's like, yo, when we had Little League shirts back in my day, it was like we had an ice cream cone on the front and the back had a number on it.
Yeah, and then you wash the shirt and they're peeling after 3 washes.
Right. And if you can see, JP, if you can take that off or if you can see the detail in that, so that it's a collage of hundreds of different photos in this particular design. And you can see all those closing photos that feature Mr. Soul JP. But your designs are truly unique and they really pop off, man. They really catch your eye. I've seen some that you've done, like some Joker inspired stuff.
Yeah.
Paintball inspired stuff. I mean, things that just really are unique. So you got to follow these guys. Check them out on empiresportswear.net, empiresportswear.net. And also, you can be found on Facebook and Instagram, correct?
Yep, correct. You could enter Empire Sportswear on Facebook, and then I think our Instagram is Empire Sportswear USA.
Okay, great. And where do you pull your inspiration for the designs, and what program are you using to do the design work?
Right. Yeah, no, I would say I love taking credit for being creative, but I will say, man, these teams come with some out of the box ideas. And I think that I just do a good job of bringing them to life rather than always being the person that comes up with them. Now, I do really love it when people say, hey, we just want the colors red and black, and this is our name, go crazy. Because then I really get to see what I do. And 90% of the time, that idea gets chosen. So that really makes me feel good about myself. But one of the number one things that I think really pops off in anything right now is nostalgia. Nostalgic brands, nostalgic cartoons, you know, TV shows, logos. If you can associate a uniform or a logo or something in that style, I think it just cycles people's brains back like, wow, I already know what that is. And it's instantly liked because that was always what everyone liked back in the day. So I think that that's a huge factor. And then the number one things that we use for designing are Photoshop, like always, and then Illustrator. And Illustrator creates all of our vector objects. That's what makes our logo look super clean on the jerseys. That's what makes the names look very clean. That's why this is, you know, stands out. So I think that we use Photoshop, Illustrator, but we've also started doing videos lately. So I've been getting into the Adobe Premiere a lot more, After Effects and stuff like that. but there are more programs that we're looking at getting into that will help us display the uniforms in a 3D fashion to where we can make it look like somebody's walking in their uniform or somebody's jumping while wearing the uniform already, so that it creates a sense of excitement, So I feel like it can go from pictures to models to creating what it's actually going to look like and what they're going to look like playing in it. And I think that that's almost like a sales pitch in itself.
Yeah.
I
love it.
I think that if you could take it and you're like, hey, listen, this is you catching a touchdown. Here's what it's exactly going to look like. Let me know what you think. 90% of the time, somebody's going to come back and be like, okay, here's my money.
Yeah.
Let me work with you. Yeah.
1,000%. And I've loved it, man. I've seen the content too. I've seen you're getting tons of love on those as well. I'm loving you just putting some content out, man. And that's, as you know, from my perspective, like that's what's going to want to help even more.
I know. I've seen a lot of your content. I was like, you know what? We're going to make it like JP makes his. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. Copy it.
You do a great job. You do a great job.
Likewise, brother. Likewise. So, and I know, I mean, I'm 2 years, 2 years removed from it now. November of 22, left my 9 to 5, went full time on the real estate agency side. And that's the goal for everybody. Build up this side hustle until you can't build it no more and you got to go full time. Chris, tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about the thoughts, tell us about the emotions, and tell us how you've liked it so far or hated it so far. Tell us a little bit of insight on that.
Well, there's actually a lot to it, a lot more than you'd think. The number one thing that I can say is always make sure that you have a clear and precise plan about what you're going to do, rather than, some people I'll just see like on Facebook or on the internet or on YouTube, like I just quit my job, I'm going to sell stuff on eBay. Without a plan, they're not doing very much behind it. So, I think the last 4 years have been leading up and gaining the confidence to leave. I probably could have left my 9 to 5 2 years ago, but I would say you're not ready. Money, what your life looks like, kids, family, anything like that. I don't think you're ready until you can look yourself in the mirror and say, there's nothing I would rather do than to wake up and work on myself. And then once you get to that point, nothing else matters. You can have a backup plan. You can have all the money in the world, and you could still be stuck in a bubble. So I feel like the number one thing is just to create the confidence and, to continue to work on yourself and follow your dreams. Because, the other thing is, I've always told Caleb, like, hey, I might be going full time today and I might be back at a job that I don't want to work at tomorrow if stuff goes wrong. But hey, you know what? I'm 29 years old and I'm not going to want to do this in 10 years. Mm-hmm. So it's either I do it now and I'm confident in the decision, or, I kind of buckle in and continue to work my 9 to 5 and retire in 30 years. I'm at 40 years, whatever. That age just keeps growing. But, I have loved it. Really, I've loved it. I was going to work. We would start, it was 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and then I would go home. The workday would change. I would get off work at 5, come home, hang out with my wife and kid till maybe like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then go back out into the office. And I would work until 2, 3, 4 in the morning every single day for 3 years. Didn't matter if it was Sunday, didn't matter if it was Saturday, didn't matter if it was Tuesday and I was dog tired. Every single day, 8 to 5, and then realistically like 8 to 4 again. So I would probably average an hour of 4 hours of sleep, or average a night of 4 hours of sleep. And, it takes a lot of discipline. A lot of people have been coming up to me lately at the tournaments and then, just around Mansfield and on Facebook, like, hey, you're so lucky, this is so cool, wow, I wish I could be as lucky to quit my job. And I'm like, man, there was nothing that included luck. There was nothing. There were nights where there was a stretch of time where I messed up my sleep period so bad that I had insomnia because I just wouldn't sleep and my body couldn't get used to it anymore. So, I would say if you have a job that you are so proud and so confident in doing, that you're doing it on the side, my number one piece of advice that I was going to say is if you could set aside your daily wage and put it away into a bank, and then almost just act as if you're going full time and live on only what you're bringing in from that side gig to see how it's actually going to play in real life. Because, just leaving your job and hoping magically that you're just going to make more money doesn't really do anything, So I would simulate what you're going to be doing before you make that jump. But if you're going to make that jump and you're confident and you're proud, the only thing that's stopping you is you. That's it.
Great.
Yeah. There's a lot to it.
That's what it's all about, man. Yeah. The harder you work, though, the luckier you get. You said there was no luck involved, and that's true.
No
that's just
luck.
Because you outworked everybody. That's the number one rule is work hard. So take notes. Work hard, burn the ships, go all in, and invest in yourself. The best investment you can make is investing in yourself, and that's exactly what you did, Chris. Love to hear it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much,
man. And I'm sitting here thinking, gosh, what is this? What is this story embody to me, Pete? Chris has always been working hard for 3 years. Holy shit. Until 3, 4 a.m. in the morning every day. Wow, man. Always working hard. He never gave up, and he was certainly dreaming huge, man. And that's our motto. That's our motto at Dream Huge. And that's the motto of the podcast for sure, man.
I love it.
You're embodying it, dude. You're embodying it. How long were you at your job before?
Well, so when I first started the first league in Empire, it wasn't even called Empire. I'm not even going to lie. I was putting my initials on jerseys. It was KL. That was it. I think I still have a couple of them. So when I first started designing, I was actually working full-time construction. And I was a pizza delivery driver as soon as I got off work. So I would work all day. Then I would go deliver pizzas from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And then I would go home and work on jerseys from 9 o'clock until 4 o'clock. And then I'd be back at work at 7 in the morning every single day.
Yeah.
And then in 2020, COVID year, right after COVID or right before COVID really broke off, I got a job at Car Wash Superstore in Mansfield as a graphic designer. And that really made me feel, a lot better. There was a little bit more money, but the timing, I didn't have to deliver pizzas anymore. I was off work at 5 o'clock. I think I probably realistically took a month or two off of everything, even jerseys. I feel like it was an adjustment that needed made because I felt like I was kind of losing myself doing so much all the time. I was scheduling out my days, and I'm sure you get to this point too, John P. I was scheduling my days down to the minute, and I didn't even need to do that. And I feel like that was creating a lot of paranoia and anxiety for doing that. So I took a break. That was when I got married, and then went on my honeymoon, came back. Kind of took like another month off of that, focused on the car wash side of everything. And then I was like, okay, now it's time to, get back into it and start really moving. And that was when it really started to do well.
Beautiful.
Hey, Chris, back to the business side a little bit. So the nuts and bolts of it. Who is your manufacturer and how did you hook up with them?
Well, we actually have a lot of manufacturers. So we work out of Vietnam, Pakistan, China. So, I don't even have their business names. It's I found them directly off of, there was a vendor list online 4 or 5 years ago that had like the best clothing manufacturers or whatever it was. And there was a contact list. And I went down the whole list. And I think I called 100 of them. It was just the best vendors and worked with a bunch of them. And there's people that we work with that make our flags. There's people that we work with out of China that make our footballs. Vietnam and Pakistan make clothing and uniforms. And we actually also are starting to manufacture our own stuff here. So we're starting to buy printers and everything like that. But the highest quality stuff that I've ever gotten to, Nike and all of that always comes from Vietnam and Pakistan. So I figured if they're getting the best quality out there, why can't we figure that out as well?
That's right. Now, how do you go about expanding into different sports and maybe going through the trade show route to expand your brand?
Right. Yeah. So, I have a lot of experience with trade shows, which is really good. We haven't done that. We haven't hit that route for Empire yet, which is something that I want to do. But a lot of, expanding comes from word of mouth. to be honest. It's just, people are so tied in, like who would have ever thought that one of the top realtor agents in the state of Ohio is going to be playing in a basketball game in the city? You know what I mean? So then it was like, okay, cool. So now we get to do basketball uniforms. And then, John P is going to hit us up in 6 months. Like, hey, my buddy's got a hockey team. And then that's kind of how it rolls on, is people just think we do such a good job that it just continues to boil over into the next spot. So the number one, Caleb is a fantastic salesman. I know I always say that he could sell ice to an Eskimo, and he does. The Empire would not be Empire without Caleb, because he is the person that takes us to the next spot, the next sport, the next level. He has a huge role in all of that. I can make great designs all day, but when it comes to selling people stuff, it's not me. It's not me. I don't have the enthusiasm like he does. I can talk to you guys all day. I can do a podcast. I'm super excited to be a part of this. But if you need somebody that's going to sit down, look you in your eyes, and tell you why Empire is the reason to go to you, I just don't have that like he does. He's a shark.
Gotcha. So from what I understand, maybe the trade show route isn't even as big as it may have once been. It's more word of mouth. It's more social media, and referrals.
Right. And I would say the trade shows kind of get looked at as our tournaments, if that makes sense. Because the whole audience that we would talk to at a trade show, outside of maybe coaches at high schools and, big local field managers and stuff like that, I would say everybody that we'd need to talk to for uniforms are at tournaments and youth events and local, just city events. Everybody's there. So I would say that we're probably going to start going to trade shows, because I do know of people in the adult recreational sports world that go to trade shows. But timing was also a very big disruption into being able to do that. So now that I have all the time in the world to do it all, I don't see anything that's stopping us from going.
What about like a general streetwear brand?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that's the goal. So we sell a lot of streetwear stuff at tournaments and stuff. A lot of people don't really focus on buying that from a sportswear company until it's right in front of their face. So it's really hard to sell streetwear clothes to people that want to buy a name brand. And when a name brand isn't your friend's brand, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So it's really hard, because most people want to wear Nike, or they want to wear Under Armour, or they want to wear Gucci, or whatever is out there, that Empire doesn't really qualify as a street brand just yet. You'll see a lot of these shirts everywhere, and you'll see them out. So that's why we kind of go really subtle on our shirts, just white and black dots. We want people to be able to wear those out. But, in the street, you're never going to see John P wearing that jersey. I mean, maybe John P would wear it in the street, but
yeah,
I take that back. John P might wear it, but you're not going to see a normal just person walking down the street in Empire. But we are getting to that point. We're creating a lot of new products. We are expanding. We're growing. We have a lot of ideas. Me and Caleb are cooking up ideas all the time. We have a huge bank stored, and we're starting to act on everything right now. But, the way that me and Caleb, we dream huge, but we really plan out every single move that we make months in advance. Mm-hmm. So maybe a year in advance. There's stuff that we're working on right now that is going to blow people's minds, but it sucks so bad because we can't even talk about it.
Yeah. It's
Come
awesome,
on, tell us. Give us the preview, man. Come on.
I can't. You got to wait till that patent pending hits, and then we'll talk. I can't. We're excited, though. We are extremely excited. It's going to revolutionize a lot of businesses in the way that they present their marketing and their media at their physical sites. So it has nothing to do with uniforms, nothing to do with clothes, but it has a lot to do with manufacturing with clothing material, if that makes sense. Excellent. That's as far as I can go. That's as far as I can go.
And you said it, and here's the key. It gets you excited. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's the key to this whole thing, is we get to wake up and be excited about what we do. And that's what fires me up every day. So, yeah, and I can see the same thing in you, man, and your brother. So kudos to you guys.
I mean, we just want to be like you guys one day. That's all.
Get real. Now we just need to get Caleb, man. I've only been telling him for a year and a half. He needs to get on.
His schedule is so, I don't even know. You're lucky he was at the basketball game.
I know. I'm lucky he was able to do my floors at my house. I mean, dude is stretched to 10 different places.
I know.
All right, y'all. We're up almost 25 minutes. Any final thoughts, JP, Chris?
No, nothing coming up. I mean, we've just got a bunch of tournaments and everything like that. So you guys are going to see a lot more coming from Empire. And then, we're working on the All-Star Game jerseys this year already. So those are going to happen soon. And
wait, now you guys are you guys like world-class, world champion flag football players as well?
Our team?
Yeah.
I am not. I help coach and run the team and, sub people in and out. But the team, yeah, we won 2 national championships this year. And then we state championships last weekend or 2 weekends ago. And then I think there's a couple of the awards that we have right there. And then I have 3 more that I have to hang up.
Love it. I think you're saying something along the lines of winning solves everything.
I guess. You just
sales are going to continue up if you guys keep winning, baby.
I mean, that's a big factor. And the more that we win, the more tournaments we get to go to, the more that we get to talk to people, the more uniforms we get to do. It's just a snowball. So I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Being that you guys both do everything for yourself and everything, what's your number one piece of advice for somebody like me who's new in it to keep the motivation going? Because now that I'm working full time, do you continue to work after normal working hours? Do you find yourself doing that? Or do you just say, okay, it's 5 or 6 o'clock, I'm done? And then how do you keep yourself going every single day with it?
See, I've heard, Pete, you don't mind if I go first, right?
Yeah.
Pete has this saying at the office where he said you trade your 9 to 5 in for a 9 to 9. You know what I mean? You trade that 9 to 5 in, but it doesn't stop. I mean, you don't work less. That's for sure.
No.
And dude, and I'm still new in this thing too. I mean, I am. And juggling 1,000 things at once is a challenge. But I think the biggest thing for me, and I've said it in some videos too, is like on those times where I'm sitting here and I do it, believe me, I do it just like anybody else. Why the hell am I doing this? What am I? I could just go work in an office, come home at 5 o'clock and do this. Why am I doing this? And really, that's the exact question I need to ask myself 90% of the time is why. I'm doing it to provide a life that I didn't get to live to my kids, to be able to live without stress from finances, without stress from time, be able to come and tell my mom, hey, listen, hang it up. You're good. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing I'd say that keeps me going is just reminding myself of that why. And dudes, you've already made one of the biggest advances in that by exactly what Pete said. You love what you do, man. It's exciting every day. You're going to have days where you ask about that why, but 90% of those days that you have, you're going to be like, all right, let's get after it today. Well, what are we doing today? You know what I mean? So that's for me is just reminding yourself of that why consistently and why you're doing it. You'll never lose motivation with that.
That's it, JP. You're exactly right.
I think nailed it. I mean, I think that's a huge, I don't know what the quote is exactly, but people always say that the winners happen because their why was greater than the others, So I think that that's something that I think about a lot. And then, the other thing that I think that keeps me motivated is if I'm sitting on the couch watching TV, eating chips and somebody else is working, then they're working to be better than me. And I don't want anybody to be better than me. So I constantly keep it in my mind that every minute that I kind of slack off is a minute that somebody else is doing better than me.
Absolutely. And I'll give one more little thing from that perspective too. As I heard this quote in a book when I first started in real estate, and it's one that's always sat with me, just because of how it hit. Whenever you're telling yourself, I feel tired today, I don't really feel like doing it. You're thinking emotionally. You're thinking with your emotions of how you feel. And anytime you think that, okay, I don't feel like it, but the logical thing to do, go ahead and finish this up. Let me work my ass off, finish whatever I'm doing, and then I can relax. And I tell myself that a lot when I'm sitting on the couch on a Sunday and I'm like, I don't feel like doing anything today. It's, I've worked hard all week. I deserve this time. And then I think back to myself, okay, I feel like that. That's an emotional thought. I need to think logically, what do I need to get done? I know it seems small, that logical versus emotional thinking, but that's been one thing that always pops in my brain anytime I feel like slacking off.
I mean, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. Pete, what about you?
For me, yeah, I will never let up until the day that I die. And entrepreneurs never retire. We only do more and more and more and put more systems in place and scale. That is, and the reason that we do that, or the reason that I do that, is the statistic is only 5%, only 4% of us will retire financially secure, and only 1% of us will retire wealthy. So that statistic always sticks in my brain. And therefore, I know through my man, Grant Cardone, that success is my duty, my obligation, and my responsibility to myself, my family, my community. That's my responsibility to be super successful so I can help out anyone in need, let alone myself and my own family. So, yeah, I'm just going to strive to get up into that 1% so I can help whoever needs it. And I will never let up, and I will never, hold back. I will keep the pedal to the floor until the day that I die.
So do you think that success is what powers you to continue to do more? Like the thought of success? Or is it just you want to be the best at what you do?
I think kind of both. I think, I want to have the success first and foremost. But yeah, I mean, to be the best at what you do, I think that kind of goes hand in hand with that. I think to be the best is kind of more of an ego thing, but to actually have the success and help people behind the scenes, is really the most important thing for me. So yeah, just never let up, man. Yeah. And just, there isn't a point where I feel that I've made it. So, and that's what you will hear this with the super, super successful, super rich. Why don't you just quit? When is enough enough? Well, there's never enough, especially because the more successful you get, the more people that are counting on you, so you really have to just go all in and be super successful.
Yeah. No, well, I appreciate it very much. I think stuff like this is a huge motivational thing as well. Getting to talk and express how everything is and learn from others is really big for me. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me and do everything with me today. I hope that we can run it back again and get Caleb on here at some point too, because make sure you block off an hour for that one. Because he's gonna tell you everything and he's not gonna stop. So he's a great dude. So
he is.
But yeah.
And I appreciate we appreciate your time too today, Chris. Man, I'm super excited to see how you guys continue to grow, and I'm always on the backside supporting and any kind of sponsorships I can give, I'm there, brother. So congrats, man, on the success so far.
Thank you.
Don't let that shit stop you though. Let's keep making it happen.
I know. Got to keep moving.
Chris, Landon, thank you, buddy. JP, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, it's that law of attraction, that like kind energy. Whatever you emit, you will receive. And that's why we all get together. We're like-minded. So I love to see it. So check out empiresportswear.net for all of your gear from the Landin brothers, man. So appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you so much. And we will continue to support and spread the good word. So thank you for watching the Dream Huge podcast. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. And as always, remember the rules. Work hard. Never give up. And dream huge, baby. Let's see the guns, Chris. Let's see them. Let's see them.
All right, let's get it.
Boom. Throw them up. Thank you, fellas. That was a great one.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for listening to the Dream Huge podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. For more inspiring content, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Dream Huge Realty and on TikTok at Dream Huge Inc. Until next time.